Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to Northern Burlington County Regional High School. I am Mr. James Dow, joined by broadcasting students Mr. Kyle Forsini and Mr. Decker Morrow, and we are here live at the farm. It is Wednesday, April 6th, as the Northern Burlington Greyhounds take on the Leap Academy Lancers. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great, Mr. Dow. Nice to be here with you guys as well, broadcasting the very first boys volleyball varsity home game.
It's very exciting, and it's history in the making here as the Northern Burlington Greyhounds come in, coached by Mr. Ryan McConnell, and as well as the JV coach, Mr. Mike Hishak, and freshman coach, Mr. Mike Gill. And so they've been playing some pretty outstanding volleyball, and we're looking forward to this matchup here tonight. Now, Northern comes into this game with a record of 1-2. They started the season with a big win on Friday, April 1st. That was away versus Atlantic County Tech. They won that game in 2 straight sets, with the scores of 25-22 and 25-21. So really hard-fought game. Great to get a win, first game of the season, especially an away game, a tough matchup like that. And then they've had 2 games so far this week. They started this week away versus West Windsor Plainsboro North. They played really well in that. They fell to West Windsor in 2 sets, but they hung with them 25-15 and 25-20. And then yesterday the Hounds had a fantastic game versus GCIT. They lost the first set 25-9. But they really hung in the second set with big play from Matt Kohler. And the Hounds were actually down last night, 19-12, but they rallied to tie the game, 21-21. They got the game point, but unfortunately fell 26-24. So they're looking to bounce back here with this big home matchup, and we've got a great crowd on hand as we look to start the game.
Looks like Matt Kohler is going to start off there with the first serve of the game for Northern. And we're underway as Kohler sends it over the net towards Leap. And 1 point for Northern after Kohler hit it right over there on Leap.
And he goes right past Joel Figueroa.
So Northern currently in the lead, 1-0.
As Kohler sends it over the net again. Another point for Northern as they're up 2-0.
So it looks like Leap is going to get the ball here with the lead now, 2-1. Looks like there was a little confusion there on the court. And they look to send this one over the net here.
Figueroa with the serve.
Quarter sets it up to Kohler, who sets it up to Trilling, who spikes it over the net. Tajc sets it up to Kohler, sets it up to Tajc again, and he hits it right into the net. It's going to be a point for Leap, who's tied the game back up at 2.
Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get it over the net there. I think he probably would have been able to land it in between their 2 players.
Lefiti bumps it up to Kohler, who sets up Frick. Smacks one over.
That was a great play by Juan Reyes.
Really sticking it all the way back into the back part of the court there, getting it by every Northern defender.
Now, these 2 teams have a little bit of experience. Like we said, this is Northern's first year with varsity volleyball. Last year was their first season with JV and freshmen, and they actually played Leap, both on the JV and freshman level last year. So Northern took those 2 games last year, so I'm sure this rubber match here means a lot to both teams, as the game is currently tied 3-3, and Northern looks to serve this one to regain the lead.
Jack Tajc hits it over the net there.
That was Jarier Castio who ended up missing hitting it out of bounds.
Tajc going to serve again, serves it over to Leap.
Little miscommunication there between Demetrius Eliza and Figueroa.
Now, as we said, the Hounds have a great team of players on the court. Jack Teach, Brett Myers from last year, Dalton Hutchinson, who's currently injured, but Josh Polito, Sam Trilling, and certainly JV captain Matt Kohler played really well last year. So the Hounds look to return that talent and hopefully be highly competitive this season.
The Hounds are led by only one senior in Sam Trilling. They're a very predominantly young team, so they'll have talent on this team for years to come.
And certainly the Hounds grew quite a bit last year. They had some really big wins in 2015, and some of those wins included beating rivals Cinnaminson, West Windsor North, West Windsor South, St. Peter's, Paul VI, and RV in their home finale. So they had a lot of big wins last year and hopefully can build on that experience. They also participated in 2 tournaments. So like you said, Kyle, for a young team, they actually have quite a bit of growth to do, but they've done really well in their short time that they've had together.
Absolutely, and getting big wins against division rivals are even more key for this team to keep their confidence going. As we had said, they're a young team, so they'll ride with that confidence for the next few years.
And certainly you can follow all of Northern's volleyball action on Twitter. The varsity volleyball team actually has a Twitter handle. You can check out at NBC Boys V-Ball. And you can follow all Northern Athletics on Twitter as well at NBC_athletics. And that's led by our athletic director, Mr. Dan Uzaki, who does a great job keeping everyone up to date with all things Northern. So there's a lot of action going on at the farm, certainly tonight and certainly this season. So you want to stay plugged in and stay up to date with everything that's going on. Those are 2 great ways to stay tuned. And certainly you can check us out on YouTube as well. We have Northern Athletics on our YouTube channel, on our live stream, on our Northern Burlington webpage, as well as on Comcast Channel 19 and Verizon 42. So lots of ways to stay plugged in, lots of ways to stay up to date with all the athletic events here at Northern and see how all of our great athletes are competing this season.
As Quarter sets it up there to Kohler, who sets up to Lefiti, who smacks it over, and it just sails out of bounds. It'll be a point there for Leap, who will tie the game at 7 with that point.
Yeah, they've gotten 4 straight points and been able to really rally back against Northern.
Lefiti sets it up to Frick, who hits it back over to Leap. Great save there by Kohler. Nick Sims just couldn't get it quite over the net there, as it's going to be another point there for Leap, taking an 8-7 lead.
Yeah, I think that is Leap's first lead of the game.
So as we said before, this is actually Northern's 3rd game in 3 days, and actually they have 4 games in 5 days this week, as well as a tournament that they just had last weekend. So hopefully fatigue isn't setting in for the Hounds as they are hanging with Leap here 8-8. Leap actually struggled last year. Their team was 0-6, so I think Northern came in with the expectation to get a win here, to regain their confidence a little bit, go 2-2 on the season, and Leap is really hanging with them. So hopefully the Hounds can build on some momentum here, get a point, get the lead, and go from there.
Yeah, and with that fault by Javier Castio, he gets subbed out for Jeniel Ortiz, number 1, who just got the hit to.
Lefiti spikes it over, hits it into the net. It's going to be another point there for Leap, taking a 9-8 lead.
Now these 2 teams play in different conferences, so it's always hard to prepare for a team that maybe you don't see all the time. Now Leap plays teams like Gloucester Tech, Hunterdon Central, Camden Tech, and Pleasantville. Those were their opponents last season, and so I think Northern maybe had a difficult time maybe preparing for a team, a little unorthodox. Certainly a team you don't see twice a year like some rivals, as we stated before. So Leap is really hanging with the Hounds. They should be very proud with the 10-8 lead they have so far.
As Leap serve there doesn't get quite over the net, it's going to be a point for Northern, their first point in a while, making it a 10-9 advantage for Leap. As Lefiti serves it over. Sims just couldn't quite get it over the net there. It's going to be an 11-9 advantage for Leap.
It looked like a bit of communication between miscommunication between Tajc and Sims there. They both kind of jumped up at the same time, and neither one of them ended up with the ball.
Tajc sets it up to Kohler, who sets it up to Tajc again. Hits it over the net there.
As Ortiz going over the net.
Quarter to Kohler to Teach, who hits a little floater in there. And that point's going to go to Leap as they take a 12-9 advantage.
Now Leap averages about 12 points in each of their sets, and actually last season they struggled early in the season. They only averaged about 8 points, but they ended their season, despite the 0-6 record, scoring about 15 and 16 points in their sets. So they certainly have to be happy with the performance they're putting on tonight, already matching their average for the season as far as points scored in a set, and they're certainly hanging with the Hounds tonight with a 12-9 lead. Looks like we got a quick timeout there by Northern. Coach McConnell looking to regroup the troops. Now, Coach McConnell has some experience. He played volleyball in high school, and he also plays beach volleyball on the side. He is a middle school teacher here at Northern Burlington, so he hopefully can rebound the troops here and get them focused on the game, and hopefully the Northern can just get into this lead and build on some momentum and win this one here at the farm.
Juan Reyes, number 16 for Leap, getting ready to serve the ball back to Northern.
Quarter sets it up to Kohler, who sets it up to Tajc, who spikes it over, and Leap couldn't quite handle it. It's going to be a point there for Northern, cutting Leap's lead from 12-9 to 12-10.
So far, it's looking like, at least in the short term, that timeout has seemed to help the Greyhounds.
As Quarter's getting ready for his first serve of the game.
Demetrius Eliza with the big stop. He was able to get the point for Leap and bring the lead back to 3.
Big stop there for Eliza on Sam Trilling there, Northern's only senior.
Now, as we said, these two teams playing for the first time on the varsity level this year. These two teams are actually going to face off again later this month on Friday, April 22nd. So certainly, I'm sure that both these teams are checking each other out, scouting for their next game. And as we look ahead at the schedule, Northern takes on Kingsway, and they waste no time. They're going to take that one on tomorrow. Kingsway actually defeated Leap in 2014, 2 years ago, in 2 straight sets. So just a quick common opponent there as these two teams are squaring off in a very tight matchup here at the farm.
As Kohler is getting ready to serve again with Northern down 13-11. Kohler sent it over. It's going to be a point there for Northern as they're going to cut the lead to 13-12 now. Kohler getting ready to serve again. Almost an ace there for Kohler as it was barely touched by Leap players as he ties the game here at 13 apiece.
Yeah, Joel Figueroa, number 13, and number 4, Luke Flores with the miscue there.
Kohler sends it over again. This quarter sets up. Great play there by Jack Teach to get that spike over there. Give Northern their first advantage in a few minutes.
So the Hounds have regained the lead. The score is 14-13. Again, I am Mr. James Dowd, joined by broadcasting students Mr. Decker Morrow, Mr. Kyle Forsini. We are here live at the farm. It is Wednesday, April 6, 2016, as the Northern Burlington Greyhounds take on the Leap Academy Lancers. And we have history in the making here, as this is Northern Burlington's first ever boys varsity home match. And we've got a great crowd on hand here supporting our boys.
Lefiti sets up Kohler, who looks to get it to Teach for the spike, and a little bit of a miscommunication there. It looked like from Teach and Trilling as neither one were sure as to who was going to go for the ball. It's going to be a point for Leap to make this a 15-14 advantage for Northern.
And you could tell it's early in the season for both these teams, as a couple of miscommunication cues on both sides. Now, Northern struggled a little bit in their scrimmages. Just about a month ago, they took on some teams like West Windsor, Collingswood, and South Brunswick, and they scored a couple of wins, but they hung with those teams. Certainly hanging with Collingswood was a tremendous show of play for them, as Collingswood won 20-plus games last year. So, it's clear that both teams are kind of working out the kinks as they are both early in their season. But currently the Hounds lead this one 16-14 as they look to serve this one.
Teach sends it over there to Leap.
That was Demetrius Eliza going under the net and giving the ball to Northern. He's done fairly well for Leap, at least to start the game, but that was a slight mistake.
And certainly there's going to be no rest for the Hounds as they have 15 games this month, as well as tournament play. And then they have their 10 games left in May as well. So certainly they'd love to get a win here tonight in front of their home crowd, rebound on their season, go 2-2, and build on that momentum. And like I said before, you hope that something like fatigue isn't setting in for the Hounds, because they've got a lot of games to play still over the next few weeks.
certainly a tight schedule, but sometimes that helps you stay focused, and you have lots of games there that you know are important. Great stop there by Quarter as he sets it up to Kohler. And
that's Eliza with another point.
Great play there by Eliza, kind of get it right in between Northern's defense there. Cut the lead to 19-15.
And it's very early for all of our spring sports here teams as the season kicked off on Friday, March 4th with practices for boys and girls lacrosse, baseball, softball, certainly boys volleyball, spring track, and golf. And we wish all of our athletes the best of luck as the season is very early on. I know the boys baseball team had a big win last night. Kyle, what can you tell us about that?
Definitely a big win last night for boys baseball. Their bats have really been coming alive this year. They're putting up about 10 runs in their first 3 games. So they've really had those bats come alive. They had a great run last year, getting all the way to the state finals, and a little bit of a disappointment for them not to have won that, but obviously back with a vengeance, and especially with the bats this year, as they've really shown that they can hit the ball.
And I understand, Kyle, you are also a spring athlete yourself. You're on the golf team. What can you tell us about that experience?
Well, we've had one match so far. That was Tuesday of this week, so that was Tuesday, April 3rd. Had our first match against Burlington Township, a pretty good rival. Defeated them 163 to 171. For most people who don't know golf, you take the 4 best scores from the team and you add those scores up, so that's how we got 163. Defeated Burlington, who was a very good team, a very good rival of ours, so it was a really good way to start off our season, and 1-0, and we actually have a match today against New Egypt, so we can wish our boys luck there.
And speaking of rivalries, the Hounds have some key games this season, so if you're looking to check out some boys volleyball action on Tuesday, April 19th, they're taking on Cinnaminson. Wednesday, May 4th versus Pennsauken. On Wednesday, May 11th, the boys have Rancocas Valley, and those are all home games. And certainly you can check out our athletic schedule or check out the Northern Twitter handles and get all the specific times for those. But those are certainly some big games. We'd love to have your support here at the farm to support this new team here at Northern.
Yeah, as you had mentioned with the Northern's baseball team yesterday, they played very well. And even the JV team really showed up last night, winning 19-4.
And certainly the JV team is coached by a fellow broadcasting teacher, Mr. Matt Pona, so he does a great job with his players, and all of our coaches do a great job here at the farm, as well as our trainers and teachers here helping our teams. We've got high expectations for our student athletes, and certainly they've done a great job, and not just last season, but in previous seasons.
Great play there by Eliza to keep that ball alive. Diving on that forward to stop it, but it's going to be a point for Northern as they take a 23-18 advantage. 2 more points to win the first set.
And certainly as a celebration of all of our proud tradition of athletics here at Northern Burlington, we have Northern Burlington's Athletic Hall of Fame coming up on Saturday, April 16th at the Old York Country Club in Chesterfield. So we'd love you, if you're around and on hand and you want to check that out, you can come celebrate the outstanding athletic achievements of this year's inductees, Ms. Joanne Hench, Mr. Jermaine Higgins, Alfred Wanish, and coach and current teacher, Mr. Brian Wolverton, as well as the 1995 championship football team. So if you're on hand, we'd love you to come out as Northern looks to close out this first match here with a 24-19 lead, game point for the Hounds.
That last point there for Leap, it looked as though Trilling hit the net as he was going over there to try and set it over. So
yeah, since that timeout, Northern's done really well, going now 15-8 since.
Sleep sends it over to Quarter, sets it up to Kohler, who sets up Sims, who spikes it over, and that's going to be a win in the first match there for Northern as they take it 25-20 over Leap.
And we're back, folks. Second set here. I am Mr. James Dowd, joined by Mr. Kyle Forsini, Mr. Decker Morrow. We are here live at the farm. It is Wednesday, April 6, 2016, as the Northern Burlington Greyhounds take on the Leap Academy Lancers in our very first boys home volleyball match, as Northern took the first set 25-20, and we are currently getting ready here to kick off the second set. So, Decker, what are some of the things that stood out to you about that first set?
Well, to me, one of the biggest things was Coach McConnell's timeout call there. Once he called the timeout, they were down 9-12, but they were able to rally back and win it 25-20. That was one of the biggest pieces to their set win. It was pretty important, but one of the key players on Leaf's team is number 12 Demetrius Eliza. If Northern can keep away from him, they'll probably be able to seal this win early.
Great play there by Josh Ippolito to set it up to Lefiti. And just hits the net there as Kohler couldn't quite get a good angle on it to set it over. And Leap takes an early 1-0 lead here in the second game.
Got a great crowd on hand here supporting our Hounds, and certainly you can keep up with all of the athletic action on Twitter with at NBC Boys Volleyball, or I'm sorry, at NBC Boys V-Ball, and all of our Northern sports teams at NBC_athletics to check out all things Northern going on.
Smart play there by Josh Ippolito, who just got subbed out there for Alec Frick, but he allowed the ball to just sail out of bounds there instead of trying to hit it back to Northern. A little bit of miscommunication there from Eliza, as he wasn't sure whether or not he should try and hit that, and it's going to be a point for Northern.
And that was something that really stood out for both teams in the first set, was a little bit of miscommunication. And as we said, we are so very early on the season. As we said before, this is Northern's very first varsity volleyball team. So everybody's trying to get to know each other, trying to get a rhythm, trying to figure out where people are going to be. But certainly if you're around, folks, we'd love you to come out. 5 out of Northern's next 6 games are here at the farm at home. And you can check out our athletic schedule for specific dates and times on those. But please feel free to come out and support this local team as they look to provide outstanding athletic achievement, as well as all of our other teams here at Northern, as they currently lead this one 3-2 in the second set.
Just adding on to the miscommunication there, this is also a very young team for Northern, as we touched on, so they're all just getting used to each other and kind of gelling. So
Big play by Tajc there to hit it right over the net, and Joel Figueroa wasn't able to stop his hit.
As Tajc is going back to serve now, as Northern's up 4-2 here in the second game. Quarter sets it up there to Kohler, who sets up Lefiti, who sails it out of bounds there. Point there for Leap. It's going to be a 4-3 advantage for Northern.
Now, certainly if our boys play well this season, they have a chance to advance to the state playoffs. Typically, a team needs about a 500 record to get there. And if the boys advance to the volleyball state playoffs, that would start on May 20th. So hopefully our boys can build on a big win here tonight, and continue to play well, and reach the expectations of getting to the state playoffs. And I know Coach McConnell and Coach Hishak really looking forward to that, as all of our spring sports teams are as well.
Kohler hit the net there on that last point, giving Leap the point as they tie it up at 4. It's a little lob spike there by Lefiti. Smart play, gives Northern a 5-4 advantage.
Yeah, I think Leap was expecting another bomb like he had hit last time, and he just came up with a short one, and it kind of caught them both off guard.
Trilling back to serve, with Northern up 5-4.
And in addition to boys volleyball, Northern has a girls volleyball team, and that's coached by the boys JV coach, Mr. Mike Hishak, and the girls volleyball team had a very competitive season this past fall, finishing at 15-21, and had some big wins against teams like Notre Dame, Sterling, Clearview, Cherry Hill, Princeton, Lenape. So I'm sure Coach Hishak and Coach McConnell have given our boys some tips, and hopefully they've talked to the girls volleyball team about some gameplay, and hopefully they can continue on this lead as they are currently ahead of Leap 6-5 in this second set.
Some substitutions here for Leap. This serve there a little bit short. It's going to be a point for Northern, going up 7-5 here in the second game.
And as we said before, certainly fatigue may be setting in. Northern just recently played in the Morristown Invitational Tournament, where they took on teams like Hopewell and Cinnaminson, defeated them, but lost to Williamstown and Pennsauken in a round-robin tournament. And this is their third game in 3 days. So they're coming out a little slow, but they still have the lead 7-5. And hopefully if they can get a win tonight, they can have their season record at 2-2 and look to build on that.
Yeah, a few missed serves in a row by both teams there, slowing the game down just a little bit.
Great save there by Kohler as Lefiti hits it right into the net.
Yeah, unfortunately he wasn't able to bring it to hit it over the net there. And that's going to be a point for Leap, who now ties the game up at 7-all.
Lefiti is going to set it up to Kohler, who sets it right back to Lefiti, who spikes it over. Out of bounds. So that's going to be a point for Leap. Makes it an 8-7 game. That's their first lead here in the second game.
As we said, Leap struggled last year at 0-6, but they're certainly looking to build on last season's disappointments, and they have a big rivalry matchup against Pennsauken Tech, and that game is actually 2 weeks from tonight. That one is at Pennsauken Tech. So a lot of big games coming up for both teams, and this one is certainly no different as the game is currently tied 8-8, but Northern's looking to serve here and regain the lead.
Great spike there by
Tajc with another great play.
And we got a pause in the game action here. Now, we actually had a recent athletic event here at Northern, our annual Blue and Gray Night 2016, which was a big hit with our teachers, our students, our staff, and our community members. Great experience. Kyle, what can you tell us about that?
Always a great experience. Blue Gray's been going on for about 6 or 7 years now, and every year it's been a big hit. Get all the kids in this school involved in school spirit, which I think is great. Having everybody kind of in the spirit for their school and kind of representing their school, having great pride for their school there. And you get all the captains that they try really hard to make that a great event, and they've succeeded every year in doing so. Get a great crowd on that event, just like we have here today. So Blue Gray is always a big hit.
And for those unfamiliar, it's an athletic competition involved with skits and games, teachers and students. We had a basketball shootout, tug of war, dizzy bat race, things like that. And the Gray team actually prevailed. But it's always a great night, festive night for everybody involved. So hopefully our students had fun, and hopefully our boys can score a big win here at home as we have our very first varsity home match here at the farm.
Point there for Northern as they take a 10-8 advantage here. Lefiti still serving. The serve sails out of bounds there. It's going to be a point for Leap, cutting the lead to 10-9.
Yeah, and that's the third point Leap's gotten this game because of Lefiti just narrowly hitting it over.
Lefiti with the set to Kohler as Tajc bumps it over. Lefiti back to Kohler, who sets up Tajc
again. Over.
So that's going to tie the game at 10-10, and Leap is looking to serve here for the lead.
Kohler sets up Lefiti for a spike. Just out of bounds there. As the Leap is going to take an 11-10 advantage here.
That was a textbook play there by Northern with the bump and the set and the spike over the net.
Yeah, this game, Northern should be really far ahead right now, but it seems like they've been their own worst enemy so far, giving up 5 of 11 on their own over the line hits.
Tajc with another great spike there, giving Northern the advantage back in 12-11. He's had a great game today.
He gets it right past Eliza there. Probably the two best on either team so far have been Tajc and Eliza. That's an interesting matchup.
This quarter, sophomore sends it over. That ball sails out of bounds there from Eliza, giving Northern a 13-11 advantage.
Javier Castio, replacing Jeniel Ortiz.
Quarter serves it over there, the net again.
And again, for those of you just joining in, I'm Mr. James Dowd, joined by broadcasting students Mr. Kyle Forsini and Mr. Decker Morrow. We are here live at the farm. It is Wednesday, April 6, 2016, as the Northern Burlington Greyhounds take on the Lethal Academy Lancers in this extremely close game here. Second set, Northern currently in the lead 13-12 after taking the first game 25-20.
Yeah, and that's the exact matchup I was talking about. Tajc goes up for the big hit, but gets stopped by Demetrius Eliza.
Kohler back serving for the Greyhounds. Miscommunication there by Leap as Eliza was not really sure whether or not he should be going for that ball, and it's going to give Northern a 15-12 advantage.
Yeah, that's been the story this whole game for Leap so far. Miscommunication errors have really given up a few points.
Really for both teams on that note, Decker. Both teams have kind of had some miscommunication this game, which has kind of led to some points from either team. As Northern takes a 16-12 lead here in the second set.
Now this is our third game together, guys. This is our boys varsity volleyball. We had the privilege of doing boys and girls basketball this past winter season. 2 wins for Northern, which were outstanding, and you could check those out on our YouTube page as well as on Northern TV, as well as other sporting events from this season. Girls volleyball versus GCIT. We did the homecoming football game versus Burlington Township, and we look to record an upcoming girls lacrosse game. That's on Friday, April 8th versus Pennsauken. That's at 4 p.m. here at the farm. So a lot of games on the docket for us, and certainly been great experience. Some of the games have gone our way and some of them haven't, but that's the way sports goes. And Northern's looking to get a win here today. Currently in the lead, 16-15.
As you said, beginning to make a little bit of a comeback here. They were down 16-12, but they've gotten 3 straight points, cutting the lead to 16-15. So Eliza serves it into the net there, giving Northern a 17-15 lead. Might be what Northern needs at this point in time. Miscue there from Leap. Tajc back to serve. As he serves it over there to Eliza. Quarter couldn't quite set it up to any of Northern's players there. Another point for Leap. A 17-16 game right here. We got Northern in the lead.
Yeah, Northern was visibly upset after that. With reason too. I mean, they had a really good chance to get a point there, and it was just a slight mistake.
Great play there by Trilling. Got it over the net with some good height on that, and it just came straight down, and Leap was unable to return it.
Quick sub there by Northern as that one sails into the net, and Leap regains possession.
18-17, Northern up right now.
And certainly Leap Academy has been doing a great job hanging with the Hounds. First set could have gone either way, and certainly this set can go either way, and they should be very proud of hanging with a good team. Our Greyhounds have been playing really well this season. And as we said before, they're coming off a very tough loss last night, but they had a big win in their opening game. So they've got high expectations coming into the season, and the fact that the game is so very close means the game could go either way. And that was a great effort there by the Hounds as well as the Lancers.
Big save by Tajc, pretty much saved that point for Northern.
So Northern currently in the lead, 19-17. It is the second game. Northern currently leads 1-0 in a best 2 out of 3 sets. Northern's actually playing shorthanded this game. They've got three of their players out with some injuries. I know senior Dalton Hutchinson injured last night in the game, and a couple of other guys who can't play, but certainly the guys we have out there on the court doing a great job trying to score a big win here in front of our home crowd in this home opener.
Great play there by Josh Apolito, keeping that ball alive as Sims floats one over there, fools Leap completely, and gives Northern a 20-17 lead. Very smart play, heads-up play there by Nick Sims.
Showed great finesse getting that point. Both teams playing highly aggressive, so a little drop shot there, and Northern gets the point as Josh Apolito sends that one over.
Good serve there by Josh. It was a little bit too hard for Leap to handle. Gives Northern a 21-17 lead.
Yeah, Juan Rai for Leap tried to get that, but he was just unable to. They play it to Eliza, who gets it back to Northern.
Another good spike there by Nick Sims, giving Northern a 22-17 lead. He's had a couple of those in a row, definitely getting some confidence there for him in the late stages of this game.
Yeah, Sims has really started to come alive in these last couple sets.
That one's going to sail out of bounds. That point's going to go to the Greyhounds as they currently are in the lead, 23-17. We got a quick timeout here. And I just want to take this opportunity, even though this game is far from over, to thank our crew who's on hand. Miss Brittany Hope, Miss Rachel Liebeck, Mr. Brandon Ozier, Miss Mitch Skelza, Mr. Bruce Franz, and Mr. Josh Gravenstein are doing a great job on cameras as well as on our technical direction, switching, And certainly you guys, Kyle and Decker, are doing a great job tonight. Northern currently in the lead, 23-17, 2 points away from scoring a big win, a big home win to get their record up to 2-2. And again, I'm Mr. James Dowd. It is Wednesday, April 6th, 2016. We are here live at the farm as the Northern Burlington Greyhounds take on the Leap Academy Lancers in the very first boys volleyball home game in Northern Burlington history. So we are about 10 seconds away from the timeout as Josh Eppolito looks to serve here for the Greyhounds. Hopefully we can score a big win here in front of our home crowd.
Yeah, they're only 2 points away.
Absolutely. These two games have kind of gone the same way, and the Leap has hung right with Northern for the first 10 to 15 points, and then Northern has kind of pulled away in each of the two games so far. So hopefully Northern can keep extending their lead here and get 2 more points and get a good win here.
Eliza gets it just barely over the net, and unfortunately Northern wasn't able to pick up a point.
So Leap regains possession. Score is 23-18. Northern 2 points away from taking this one. Leap sends that one over.
Sims with the bailout play there. Almost didn't make it. But nice play by Kohler to get it just past Eliza.
And
Very good
Northern
play
is
there.
now 1 point away from taking this one.
Northern has shown some finesse here in this second game, kind of just letting those balls just barely get over the net here.
And there's a play by Lefiti.
Oh, Eliza with the game saver for Leap.
And they've been certainly playing outstanding as well. So 24-19. Game could end at any moment here if Northern could score a point and take this one in front of our home crowd. Certainly got a lot of volleyball still to play in the season, but
Tajc over the line. That could have been the game.
Northern certainly looking to get a big win here tonight.
Tajc sets to Kohler as Tajc looks to end it, and he does.
He does there.
And that's going to do it. As that ball sails out of bounds. Northern Burlington with a big win here tonight. 25-20 in 2 games.
Finishing both games 25-20 there.
Playing outstanding. And a great showcase here by the Hounds. So, again, we want to thank you for tuning in. Great job tonight by our varsity boys volleyball team, scoring a big home win in their home opener and their inaugural season as a team. For Northern TV, for Mr. Kyle Forsini, for Mr. Decker Morrow, I'm Mr. James Dowd, signing off.